Shelter. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Translation. Thereafter, when he desired to move from one body to another, the navel and the air of the departure and death were combinedly created. The navel is the shelter for both, namely death and the separating force. The departure and death were combinedly created. The navel is the shelter for both, namely death and the separating force. Purport. The Pranavayu continues the life. The Pranavayu continues the life and the Apanvayu stops the living force. Both the vibrations are generated from the abdominal hole, the navel. This navel is the joint from one body to another. Lord Brahma was born of the abdominal hole of Garbhodaksha Vishnu as a separate body. And the same
and that is the way the Supreme Lord manifests.
Swami Nitinamine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Vashatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shrivasadi Gaura Bhaktavrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, welcome everyone to our morning Srimad Bhagavatam class, seeking blessings from all the devotees so that I can speak something for my own purification. This is the 10th chapter of the second canto going on. Bhagavatam is answer to all questions. So in the 44th verse of the last chapter, Shukadeva Goswami described that Brahmaji recited Bhagavatam, which has 10 topics. So in response to that, Shukadeva Goswami continues the discussion in this chapter by describing the 10 topics of Bhagavatam. So the previous section of this chapter described the 10 topics of Bhagavatam. And then Parikshit Maharaj had asked another question in the 8th chapter of the second canto about the universal creation, about the Virata Rupa. And Shukdeva Goswami, in response to that question, he is going to describe Virat Purusha third time. That is a description going on in this chapter of this section, in this section. So the Virat Purusha description comes 5 times in the Bhagavatam. 3 times in the second canto and 2 times in the third canto. So why Shukdeva Goswami is repeating the description of Virat Purusha? It was not that he was falling short of the topic, so that's why he repeated the same topic again and again. Every time the description has a different reason. Why Virata Rupa is described has a different reason. So in this third time when the description is coming, the reason is the desires manifest our gross and subtle body. That's the purpose of the description. So whenever it is described, Virat Purusha desired to eat and the gross tongue was created. Virat Purusha desired to hear and the ears were created, manifested. So it means when the Virat Purusha desires, it means all the living entities desire. Living entities of the universe desired to hear, to see, to touch, to smell, and in response to that, all the organs are being manifested. So that's how the universal body is the result of the desire of all the living entities. That forms the basis of this material universe. And when this description comes again and again, a regular devotee thinks, why this is coming? Okay. So why this is coming again and again? What is the purpose? So Shukla, so far there is not much discussion about the qualities and the pastimes of the Lord, the Leela of the Lord. So Shukdeva Goswami in response to that he says, yes, what you have said is true, but to whom should the topics of Leela Avatar be taught with relish? Who can actually relish the Leela Avatar pastimes? He says those who are already Nitya Siddhas, those are already liberated beings, they can spontaneously they can spontaneously relish the pastimes of the Lord. For them it is like nectar. Nirmat Saranam Satan, that is the second verse. Vidyam Vastavatru Vistu Sivadam, first verse. Tapat Trayon Mulanam. So that is Nirmat Saranam Satam. This is Bhagavatam, which is meant for those who are without envy, those who are liberated beings. They can relish Bhagavatam. But then Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says, those who are already sleeping on the bed of sense pleasure and those who have fainted in the waves of suffering arising from karma, they cannot be woken up. So how can the pastimes of the Lord be taught to them? They are not the proper recipients of hearing the pastimes of the Lord. But this Bhagavad Puran is so merciful that it somehow tricks the living entities and wakes them up. Wakes the living entities so that they can ultimately hear. They can hear something about Krishna. Something is about the pastime of Krishna in the form of creation pastimes. Mayam varnayato mushya ishvarasya anumoditaha shanvata shraddhaya nityam mayayatmanam muhyati. Shukdeva Goswami describes, if somebody hears the creation pastimes of the Lord, they don't get entangled in the Maya. They don't get bewildered by Maya. So therefore, all the living entities in this world, when they are absorbed in self-gratification, somehow or other Krishna is arranging all this wonderful description of Bhagavatam, the creation and the Leela Avatar, so that the living entities can come out of this entanglement. For liberated souls, Bhagavatam is like a nectar. For materially conditioned souls, it is like medicine. As Rupa Goswami describes in Upadeshamrit, the nectar, the names, form, pastimes of the Lord, they are like nectar. But the problem is, we have a disease called as disease of jaundice, ignorance. The ignorance is afflicting everyone in this world. Syat Krishna Nama Charitapi Sitapya Vidya Avidya. The disease is of ignorance, and it is compared to jaundice. Just like a person who is afflicted with jaundice, he cannot even relish sugarcane juice. The sugarcane juice also tastes bitter. Pitto patapta rasanasya na rochikano. He doesn't have any taste for even sugarcane. So what has to be done? Kintu adarat anudinam khalushaiva jushta. Certainly, the swadvi, the taste will manifest if you drink regularly and without any other ulterior motives. Kintu adara, with respect and with consistency, if we keep hearing, then the same pastimes, which are like medicine, they'll become like nectar. So that's why this Bhagavatam is described in a wonderful way. And Shukadeva Goswami is such a wonderful speaker. He has combined philosophy and stories so that it can appeal to anyone and everyone. It is not just for liberated beings, it is for everyone. It is for conditioned souls also, so that they can also come to that level where they can relish Krishna's wonderful pastimes. And that's why creation is also described. So creation pastimes, they purify, because it is very easy to imitate the Leela of the Lord. Sometimes, Rasa Leela and some other Leelas, people they imitate. But nobody can think of imitating the creation pastimes. I will also create a universe. Nobody can do that. So therefore it is easy to accept Krishna as God when we hear about the creation pastimes. But Krishna as an ordinary human being, when he appears as an ordinary human being, he performs pastimes which can be imitated. Some of the pastimes, not all pastimes. Some pastimes can be easily imitated. So therefore it is recommended that a conditioned soul hears the creation pastimes more, so that there should be no doubt that this personality who is doing apparently human pastimes, he is not an ordinary human being. He is the Supreme Personality of the Lord. Yanmartya lilo paitam spaikam swayoga maya balam darshitam grihita. Yanmartya lila, when the Lord is performing martya pastimes, the human pastimes, ordinary people, they get bewildered. Vismapanam swasya cha saubhagarde param padam bhushana bhushanangam. It bewilders the ordinary living entities. But the creation pastimes, they are very clear cut that nobody can imitate such pastimes. So that's why such creation pastimes are coming again and again, so that there should be no confusion when one reaches the 9th and 10th canto. There should be no confusion that maybe he is an ordinary human being. I can also perform such pastimes. Krishna was eating, Krishna was stealing. I would also do the same thing in my childhood. So he is like an ordinary person. No, it is not like that. So therefore, Bhagavatam describes all these creation pastimes again and again, so that there should be no confusion. And in this section, Shukadeva Goswami is describing the universal form again. First, he described about Garbhodaksha Vishnu, generally Mahavishnu. Then Mahavishnu creates all these elements, and then the universal shell is created, and then Garbhodaksha Vishnu enters the universal shell. That is the actual sequence of creation. But in this chapter, Shukadeva Goswami is not following the actual chronological order. He first described Garbhodaksha Vishnu, and then now he is describing Karanodaksha Vishnu, the primary creation. So the primary creation has two parts. In technical terms, it is called as Karana Srishti and Karya Srishti. So here the Karana Srishti is being described. The creation of the various elements and creation of the various body parts. So again and again in this section from 17th to 30th verses, it comes when the Virata Purusha desired, then the subtle organ, first gross organ was created, then the subtle organ was created, then the sense devatas, and then tanmatras. That is a sequence of creation. So basically the root cause of description is desire is the cause of material existence. Living entities, when they come in this world, the first thing which happens to the living entity is misidentification. Krishna bhuliya jiva bhogavancha kare nikatastha maya tare jhapatiya dhare. So the first thing which happens is one forgets his constitutional position as servant of the Lord and starts lording over this material universe, material nature. And as a result of that, the layer of the subtle body is created, which comprises mind, intelligence, and the ego. And then gradually, under the influence of this subtle body and ego, the ignorance becomes more and more pronounced, more and more thick. And one starts getting involved in all sorts of material works. It really bewilders people. People get bewildered. Living entities get bewildered. Nonam pramatta kurute vikarma yadindriya pritaya pranoti. Vishwabdev says, Nonam, certainly, pramatta, people are really mad after sense gratification. Nonam pramatta. Why? They do kurute vikarma, they do sinful activities. For what? For indriya priti, for satisfying senses, not realizing those activities will give them more pain. And the result is anadi karma phale pari bhavarnava jale taribare na dekhiyo paye. Since when we are in this world, nobody knows. And how to come out of this, that also nobody knows. Very few people, they come in touch with this understanding that I have to come out of this material universe. This material world is dukkhalaya. When ordinary people hear this, they seem, maybe you are going through lots of sufferings. That's why you are telling. My life is full of happiness only. No problems in my life. So that means my life is sukkhalaya. And your life may be dukkhalaya. That's why you are teaching like that. But no, they don't realize that now it is sukha, but Krishna says, yehi samsparshaja bhoga dukkha yonaya evate. The ultimate result of sense gratification is misery. It is not that maybe it will come. For sure it will come. When we enjoy the pleasures of this world, for sure sense gratification leads to misery. And then one gets bound more and more. In this world, time destroys everything. As Krishna says, Kalosmi loka kshayakrit. Time destroys everything in this world. But one thing is not destroyed by time. That is false ego. The false ego is not destroyed by time factor. False ego becomes more and more pronounced by this time factor. That's why Gajendra, he prays to the Lord, oh my Lord. After he offers the flower to the Lord and starts offering beautiful prayers to the Lord, after offering few prayers, he realizes that why I am praying for getting relief from the clutches of this crocodile. I want to be freed from the clutches of this material existence only. Jijivishena muhamya mantar bahischa vritaye bhayonya ichchami kalena nayasya viplavastasya atmaloka varnayasya moksham. He says, oh my God, I don't want to live now in this world. Jijivishena aham. Because what is the use of living in the body of an elephant? Elephant is anyways a dull animal. And inside also I am ignorant, outside also I have ignorant body. So what is the use of getting freed and stay in this body? Antar bahischa avrit. Ichhavi kalena nayasya viplava. In due course of time, everything is destroyed, but not false ego. Oh my Lord, please free me of this false ego that I am the controller. I am the enjoyer. I can enjoy in this body. So therefore, this desire, which is a root cause of transmigration, as this verse says, the living entity goes from one body to another body. That's why the navel is created. Bhagavatam can cut these desires. That is the toughest thing, false ego. It can be cut by hearing Bhagavatam, hearing scriptures. Yasyam vaishruyamanayam Krishne paramapurushe bhaktir utpadyate pamsam shoka moha bhaya apahar. Gradually, by hearing Bhagavatam, three things go away. Three things are destroyed. Shoka, moha and bhaya. Hankering, lamentation and fear. These are the most prominent emotions we have in our life. We always fear things which we may lose. We hanker for things which we don't have. And we always lament for things which we lost. But when we hear Bhagavatam, when we understand scriptures, gradually we realize that everything in this world is temporary. Nothing lasts in this world. So therefore, what should be the desire of a living entity? That is described in Bhagavatam. Because in the outside world, the desires of living entities are Dhanam, Janam, Sundari, Kavita. That's the desire. After coming to Krishna consciousness, now gets added. Na Dhanam, na Janam, na Sundarim, Kavita. Because all these desires, they bind a living entity. We get bound in the cycle of birth and death. So Bhagavatam gives us right aspirations, what to desire in this world. Otherwise, any desire in this world will bind us. Therefore, Parikshit Maharaj, he offers a beautiful prayer. Oh my Lord, if I have to come back in this world, I want three things. Please give me attachment for the Lord, association of devotees, and desire to serve all the living entities. Vanashabhuyad bhagavati anante rati prasanga chatadashayeshu mahatsuyamyam upayami srishtim maitriyastu sarvatra namo dvijebhya. He is praying to all the sages. Please give me these three benedictions. That is a desire which a devotee tries to develop in life. Otherwise, all the desires are really difficult to lose. Desire for name, fame, prestige, it is so very deeply rooted. But the more we practice Krishna consciousness, the desire decreases. At least we understand that we have to leave these desires. Otherwise, even if somebody praises us, we may not feel like disgusted when we hear the praise. Internally, our mind says, please speak something more. But externally, we know that this is not the right thing. So desire gradually gets transformed from faking it to actually really feeling I don't want fame. That was the situation of Madhavendra Puri. When Gopinath stole sweet rice for Madhavendra Puri, and this priest, Lord came in the dream of the pujari and told, please search out this devotee of mine and give him this sweet rice. He is calling in the middle of the night. Shiralahayayara nama Madhava Puri Tomalagi Gopinath Khira Koila Churi. Where are you, O Madhava Puri? That was not the time. That was time where there were no social media or nothing, so that immediately broadcast. Where is Madhava Puri? He's shouting in the middle of the night, Shiralaha Yar Nama Madhavpuri. Whoever is Madhavpuri, please come. Gopinath has stolen sweet rice for you. And don't worry, I will not blame you for, thievery. Because wherever the word, chori comes, so nobody wants to get involved in that matter. So he says, Shiralaya Sukhe Tumi Karaha Bhakshane Toma Sama Bhagyavan Nahi Tribhuvane. Please accept this sweet rice and relish it, honor it. There is nobody as fortunate as you in this entire 3 words. So as soon as Madhavendra Puri he realized that Lord has stolen sweet rice for me, people will come to know. They will speak about me, they will glorify me. And a devotee never likes to be glorified. Madhavendra Puri started thinking, Thakur mora shir dila lok sab shuni, dine lok bhid habe more pratishtha jani. People will come to know that Lord has stolen sweet rice for me and my pratishtha will increase. So therefore what happened? Pratisthar bhaya puri gela palaya. How many of the people of the world have bhaya pratishtha? It is other way around. They have fear of not getting pratishtha. Why he is getting pratishtha? Why not I am getting? Why I am not getting? But a devotee realizes name, fame, prestige, wealth, honor of this world just entangles. So in our conditioned state, we may not be free of this desire, but at least we can aspire to be free of this desire. That's the beginning of a devotional life. At least aspire. Now we don't have the pure motives, but at least we can aspire. It's like Dhruv Maharaj. Approaching Krishna for material desires is also beneficial. Rather than going to any other devata and asking for material desires, if we go to Krishna and ask material desires, Krishna works in a very wonderful way. Krishna fulfills the desires and purifies the desires. Satyam dishatyarthitam arthitoninam naivartadoyat punararthitam yataha swayam vidhatte bhajatam anichchatam ichcha vidhanam nijapada pallavam. This word says it is true. Satyam arthitam arthitoninam. If somebody goes to Krishna for material things, Krishna gives it. But Krishna gives in a way that the devotee doesn't ask for the same thing again. Devotee thinks, why did I ask this? It has become an obstacle now in my service. How Krishna does it? Swayam vidhatte, Krishna gives himself. But devotee says, Anichchatam, I don't want you, my Lord. Abhi nahi chahiye. Later. Krishna says, no. This is free, 1 + 1 not a. I always come with my benedictions. I give myself. Swayam vidhatte bhajatam anichchatam. Even if you have anichchatam, ichcha nahi hai, still I'll come. And when Krishna comes in the life of a devotee, ichcha vidhanam nijapada pallavam. The lotus feet of the Lord fulfills all desires. Purifies all desires. No material desires remain. So that's how the desires in this world, they are the cause of this universe. They are the cause of this body. They are the cause of transmigration. And the process of spiritual life, Krishna consciousness, is to purify those desires. Until the time we don't realize the value and importance of this, we will not endeavor for it. The more we hear, the more we understand the value of a particular object. We realize how fortunate we are. And it happens when we are in association of devotees who are practicing it, who are sincerely practicing, sincerely trying to purify the desires. Otherwise, it is very, very difficult thing. And till the time we don't realize what is the importance and value of Krishna consciousness, we will not develop a desire to get it. Srila Prabhupada tells a story, or there is a story which is described to tell us the value of what we have received. One person, he went to a sage and he asked, "Oh great sage, please give me the most secret mantra." And the sage gave this Hare Krishna mantra. He said, this is the most important mantra. He went around and he saw the children were also singing. The dhobi, the washerman was also singing this mantra. The ladies, they were also singing. He came back and told the great sage, "Oh great sage, what is so secret about this mantra? Everybody knows this mantra." The sage gave him a diamond, a big diamond. And he said, "You know the value of this diamond?" He said, "Of course I know this. This is very most costly, very, very valuable jewel. You go around and ask people what they'll do if they get this jewel. Children, they say, we'll throw this and like a ball, we'll play with this. The washerman said, I'll use this to wash my clothes." So this man started thinking, they don't realize the importance of this jewel. He came back and told the sage, what is happening here? The great sage said, this is what this Hare Krishna mantra is. Everyone chants, but the more we realize the value of what we are chanting, we will use this in right way. Otherwise, as Srila Prabhupada said, Krishna consciousness is so simple, we may miss it. We may miss Krishna consciousness. Because whatever is given, it's highest. And it is given in a very, very simple way. So Bhagavatam describes that Krishna consciousness is simple, Sulabha. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam describes Achirat. Very quickly you will achieve this. Very easy to practice. And if somebody says, no, it is very difficult. Chant 16 rounds. Follow 4 regulative principles, very difficult. But this is the simplest process. If somebody says it is difficult, that means they have not even ventured what is there in other paths. It is the simplest process available for Kali Yuga people, custom made for people of Kali Yuga, who are manda sugandha matayo manda bhagyo padrita. Always disturbed, always distracted. So Bhagavatam gives hope that yes, it is very difficult to cut through these desires, but Bhagavatam can purify our desires. The holy names of the Lord can purify our desires. An interesting thing is, Krishna is actively working to help us.
For a ordinary conditioned soul, the role of Paramatma is Upadrashta and Anumanta. He just observes and sanctions. But when somebody becomes a devotee of the Lord, Paramatma has the additional role of actively guiding a living entity to the process of bhakti. He is not just passively observing and sanctioning, he is actively helping the devotee. And what Lord is doing to help every living entity, it is unimaginable. Nobody can even understand what Lord is doing. Inside he is acting as a guru, Chaitya Guru, and outside he comes as spiritual master to instruct. So it is described in Bhagavatam, even if somebody gets a life of Brahma, even if somebody is a great poet, still he cannot write in his entire life of Brahma what Lord is doing for every living entity. So whether one is devotee or non-devotee, Lord is helping everyone. What to speak of if somebody becomes a devotee? Just like father takes care of all the children, even if somebody is disobedient. But if somebody is obedient child, then father shows special attention. That is what happens when comes to Krishna consciousness. This is the most auspicious path. Na tatha hi agavan rajan puyet tapadibhi yatha krishnarpita pranas tatpurusha nishevayat. Na tatha hi agavan. Shukdev Goswami is telling, O Parikshit Maharaj, there is no path which is more auspicious than this path of serving the Lord and serving the devotees of the Lord. This is the sure short way to purify our desires. Just by chanting the names of the Lord. Just by studying scriptures, Bhagavatam, just by associating with devotees, one gets purified. Ajamil is a classic example of how one can get purified just by chanting. Even at the time of death. Mriyamano Harer Nama Grinan Putropacharitam. He chanted at the time of death. Ajamilopi Agadhama Kimuta Shraddhaya Grinan. Ajamil also got a second chance and went to the spiritual world.
What to speak of if somebody chants with faith? So Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur describes what is the full understanding of this verse, Mriyamano Harer Nama. So Shukdeva Goswami, he summarizes the glories of chanting. He says, this Ajamil, he chanted without faith. He didn't know the glories of holy names. What will happen if somebody chants with faith? Without faith, somebody chanted, Ajamilopi Agad Dhama. He got liberated of sins. What will happen if somebody chants with faith? He chanted while dying. What will happen if one chants while living? The purpose is, Ajamil chanted at the time of death and he got freed from all the sins. Acha hai. We will also do the same. No. What more we can get when we chant throughout our lives? Third thing, he says, he chanted to indicate his son. He was not chanting, he was not calling the Lord. He was calling his son's name. What will happen if one chants to indicate the Lord? Fourth, he says, Ajamil was most sinful. What will happen if a sinless person chants? So all these wonderful combinations are given to us just by coming in touch with Krishna consciousness. We are given this faith in the holy names. We are given a chance to chant throughout our life. We are chanting directly the names of the Lord, not indicating somebody else. And we are living a sinless life. We are following the four regulative principles. So what is in store for us? So we have to understand what we have received is a rare gift. Not many receive in this world this gift. It is the rarest of the rare opportunities which is given to us. And Krishna is tolerating all our sinful desires, all our conditionings, and giving us His mercy again and again. And the great devotees are doing the same thing. Srila Prabhupada, how much he tolerated. One devotee, this Prabhupada disciple, Deen Bandhu Prabhu, very famous Deen Bandhu Prabhu, Vrindavan. He was telling that when he started going to Los Angeles temple, and he met one devotee, Mahapurush Prabhu. So Mahapurush Prabhu, he was telling Dinabandhu Prabhu that in 26 Second Avenue, when Srila Prabhupada just started giving classes, all the hippies, all the people would come and they would be in different states. And Prabhupada would cook for everyone single-handedly. Huge feast. And everybody would take prasad and they would leave. And they would not even wash their plates. Sometimes. And there were many dirty pots. Prabhupada cooked all the vessels had to be washed. So after few months, one day, this Mahapurush Prabhu, he started thinking, well, somehow or other we come every day and these pots get cleaned. Who cleanses them? And that day he saw that everybody has already left, only I am there and Swamiji is there. And I have never cleaned. So who is cleaning these pots? Maybe Swamiji is doing alone. So then he went and asked, Swamiji, can I help you in cleaning? Prabhupada said, I was waiting for this question for last few months. Who will come and ask? So Srila Prabhupada, he has tolerated so much so that we get purified of our desires. What all things Srila Prabhupada tolerated. We know the story of Srila Prabhupada when he was in Africa. First time he went to Africa and
He washed his clothes, and next morning he came to get the clothes and he saw the clothes were missing. Somehow he had another set. So he was sitting in the Bhagavatam class and giving a talk, and he saw one disciple is wearing kurta, his kurta. Other disciple is wearing his dhoti, other is uttari. So Prabhupada began with, one should not steal the clothes of spiritual master. That's how Srila Prabhupada started with. All things Prabhupada tolerated. And because Srila Prabhupada tolerated, that's why we are here enjoying Krishna consciousness. We are getting purified of our desires because Srila Prabhupada and the devotees tolerated, Krishna tolerated. And Krishna is so merciful, he is known as Swanam Paksha Poshanam. Lord is partial. Although he is not impartial, but he is definitely more inclined towards devotees. Samoham sarva bhuteshu name dveshvasti na priyaha ye bhajanti tu maam bhaktya maite teshu chapyam. Krishna contradicts himself in the same verse. First two lines says, I am equal to everyone, and then he says, but. But means all the previous thing is nullified. But whoever worships me, I show special favor for them. And Lord is described as Swanam Paksha Poshanam. We see in Bhagavatam, in Vrindavan, so many demons came. Putana came, Trinavart, Aghasur, Shakatasur, Vyomasur, Pralambasur, all were killed. Before they could do even little havoc in Vrindavan, they were killed. But two people who created maximum havoc in Vrindavan, Indra and second was Kalia. Kalia's poison actually killed the cowherd boys. Indra wanted to drown entire Vrindavan in waters. What was the result? Indra was not killed. And Kalia was not killed. Why? Because Indra is a devotee. So devotee hai, to Krishna says, okay, apna admi hai, side mein lo, We have a different plan for him. And why Kalia was not killed? Wives were devotees. Devotee contact hai, Even if somebody is a devotee or a devotee knows, Krishna shows special mercy to them. So that's how Lord is just waiting to see little inclination, little desire, little connection, and Krishna is ready to give all the mercy. Our problem is we are fearful. I don't want to leave all my desires. Just like it is described that one time Narad Muni went to Lord and told, why you are not calling everyone to Vaikuntha? Just see, so many people are doing Govardhan Parikrama. Liberate them. So the Lord told, okay, you go and ask if they want to come back to me. So Narad Muni goes and asks many people who are doing Govardhan Parikrama, do you want to go back to spiritual world? They said, no, we have so many things to do in life. I have my son's marriage and so many things. At last one person said, okay, I'll come with you. And as Narad Muni is taking him, on the way he asks, by the way, when are we coming back? Narad says, there is no coming back. It is one-way journey. So this person says, then I am not coming. So it is a very, very rare desire to go back to spiritual world. That desire we have received by the mercy of devotees, by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada. Otherwise, it was unimaginable. And Srila Prabhupada is so very wonderful. By his genius, he has incorporated in this Mangala Aarti, in temple, if we come to temple and attend Mangala Aarti, from 5 o'clock to 9:15 Bhagavatam, out of 64 limbs, more than 50 limbs of devotional service are done. That is the expertise of Srila Prabhupada. Unconsciously, we are practicing so many limbs of bhakti. Just by watering tulasi, the simple act of watering tulasi plant. Ya drishta nikhila gashanga shamani sprishta vapupavani roganam abhivandita nirashani siktang kitatrasani प्रत्यासत्ति विधायिनी भगवता श्री कृष्ण संरोपिता न्यस्त्या तच्चरणे विमुक्ति फलदा तस्यै तुलस्यै नमः. Rupa Goswami describes in Nectar of Devotion the glories of Tulsi Maharani. Ya drishta, darshan purifies the body. All the sins are purified just by darshan of Tulsi. Sprishta, when you touch Tulsi, the body gets purified. Sprishta vapu pavani. When we eat, roganam abhivandita nirashani. We get purified of the diseases also when we eat. Honor Tulsi Maharani. Roganam abhivandita siktankita trasini. When we water Tulsi Maharani, all the distress of the life goes away. Pratyasatti vidhaini bhagavata Shri Krishna samropita. When we plant Tulsi Maharani, one becomes closer to the Lord. And when we offer Tulsi at the lotus feet of the Lord, nyastya tacharane vimukti phalada, one gets liberated. We can't even imagine what all we are doing every day. We may be thinking, 3 baar parikrama ho gaya, chalo next. But in these 3 parikramas of Tulsi Maharani, so many things are happening. So that is how it is so very wonderful. Drishta, Sprishta, Tatha, Dhyata, Kirtita, Namita, Stuta, Ropita, Sevita, Nityam, Pujita, Tulsi, Shubha. These are the 9 activities we can do for Tulsi Maharani. Drishta, Darshan, Sprishta, touching, Tatha, Dhyata, just remembering, meditating on Tulsi. Drishta, Sprishta, Tatha, Dhyata, Kirtita, glorifying Tulsi. Namita, offering obeisances unto Tulsi. Stuta, speaking some glorification. Pujita, worshipping Tulsi. Sevita, Nityam. Anything you do. The results of 9 things, all these 9 things is what, Navadha Tulasi Devi ye bhajanti dine dine yugakoti sahasrani ye vasanti hari grihe. Anybody who worships Tulasi in these 9 ways, dine dine, every day, they reside in the abode of the Lord eternally. So just by worshipping Tulsi Maharani, we are getting so much. So Srila Prabhupada has done such a wonderful, miraculous activity by incorporating such powerful things in Mangalarti. And what we have to do is remember our fortune. When we don't remember our fortune, we think maybe it is not working. It doesn't work like that. We have to remember. Because the nature of this world is we forget what we have received. Yudhishthira Maharaj also went into such thing. After hearing entire Narsingh Leela from Narad Muni, he started thinking, wow, Prahlad is such a great devotee. For one devotee, Lord appeared. Mere liye kaun aa raha hai? Nobody is coming for me. So Narad Muni tells, oh Rajan, you know how fortunate you are? Yuyam niloke bat bhuri bhaga lokam punana munayo bhiyanti. Yesham grihana vasatiti sakshat gudham param brahma manushya lingam. O King Yudhishthir, you are the most fortunate in the entire human society. Nriloke bat bhuri bhaga, most fortunate. Kyun? What is so special about me? That great Supreme Lord, who is not seen by the yogis even after hundreds and thousands years of tapasya, that Lord is residing in your home, becoming your chariot driver, becoming your messenger. He is your constant companion. He never leaves you. So what we have received is unlimited fortune. And our desires are gradually getting purified. So what we have to do is always remember and be grateful for what we have received. And the way to show our gratitude is to practice what is given to us. That is sincere practice of chanting regularly, attentively, hearing Bhagavatam, associating with devotees and serving them. So with this I will stop here. Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Granth Raj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Hare Krishna.